Hi, my name is Phyllis Solomon. I'm with JCA Interages, and this is our Interages Interview project. And we're very excited today. And Asher will be interviewing Bill Torrey, and I leave it to you guys. Take it away. And thank you for doing this.
All right. So you were a broadcast journalist for more than 35 years. Why did you choose broadcast over print journalism?
Well, I'll tell you, Asher, broadcasting chose me. About the age of 11, my voice changed. And at the age of 14, I was hired by the local radio station to be a DJ. And after college, I served them as a news director. Now, you've heard about folks who've been in jobs for a long time. In my case, I had about 20 jobs. I'm not going to name them all, but I'll say I was a news director 3 times. One of those times down in Miami, where I met my wife. We've been married 46 years, so that job turned out okay. I've been an anchor. I worked at CBS Market Watch as a business correspondent. I taught at American University. I also was the president of a small production company. And for a number of years, I worked at the Voice of America. So it's been a checkered career, as we say in the business.
So what would you say your most memorable experience as a journalist was, or maybe your most memorable career that you or job that you had?
Well, I'll say the most memorable thing perhaps occurred very early on, way back in June of 1972. As far as anybody can tell, I was the first person to report on the Watergate break-in. Little did we know at the time that it would lead to the downfall of a president.
Careers in print journalism are in decline due to the internet. Does broadcast journalism face a similar future? And if so, how can broadcast journalism adapt to overcome this fate?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think it is in decline because of the internet. For example, every day I read the New York Times, the Washington Post, articles from Bloomberg, all on the internet. These are newspapers, but I read them on the internet. Broadcasting does the same thing. What we teach now in broadcasting schools is something called convergence. You learn how to write well. You learn how to present yourself on camera. You learn how to ad lib. You learn how to use graphics. You learn how to do all of those things. So the internet, though it has changed the way we receive our information, it hasn't really destroyed journalism as a career.
What advice do you have for a young person who wants to pursue a career in broadcast journalism?
I'd say learn how to do all of those things. Start practicing your writing, though. Writing is probably the core skill for anybody who wants to be a broadcast journalist.
You decided to prepare the next generation of broadcast journalists by teaching at American University. What are the most common misconceptions that your students had about the journalism profession?
Well, you just mentioned journalism profession. I used to have to tell them, we are a craft. We're really not a profession. A profession requires licensing by the state. The First Amendment to our Constitution does not allow the government to draw up regulations for the practice of journalism. So we are not sanctioned by the government. Journalism schools can be very good or they can be very bad. So we are a craft and we have to kind of draw up our own codes of operation. And those who adhere to the highest standards are the people that we should listen to or view.
I've been told that reading is a big part of your life. Could you tell us your 3 favorite books and explain why you think that everyone should read them?
Boy, that's an impossible job because I have read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books, and I thoroughly enjoy all of them. I don't choose to read a book if I'm not going to enjoy it. I particularly like nonfiction. I would say history, science, biographies. Foundational books are important too. For example, the Bible and Shakespeare. Everybody should read that compilation of books at least once in their life, if not many times, to get a real feel for what their culture is all about.
Thank you. Sci-fi is also my favorite, incidentally. You were very active with Interages, editing its newsletter, serving as a resume reviewer, and much more over the years. How are children today different from when you were a child?
Well, let me see. Most things are the same. But I will tell you, there are some differences. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have the internet. None of this connectivity that is just a part of your life from the time you're about 2 years old up. That did not exist. And so we had more face-to-face contact with our peers. When I was a teenager, I'll have to admit another thing hanging over our heads was the military draft. And one other thing that I'm glad is history. I went to a segregated school. That does not exist anymore. And so that's a major, major difference. And one that I'm glad to see has gone way beyond what we've got today.
All right, thank you.
You've done a fine job.